to Bangladesh this week, which has been fantastic. Got back late last night. It's a long journey. So anyway, enough of all those ills for you. Actually, one of the guys gave me a cup last time I was there as well, which is quite nice. Got my cup of coffee in there as well. Had a good time there, really enjoyable time as well. So I hope everybody's well. Welcome to your CeMAP live stream. Lots going on, of course, in the mortgage world. Early November now, moving forward, of course, to December and the new year. So all is going well here. So let's talk about what we've got planned for you this morning. I want to give you a little bit of an update of something happening in the news. Then we're going to take a look at exchange rates and annuities, and then we're going to give you a sales skill as well. So hopefully there's going to be some great stuff for you to enjoy. So let's pick up on some of the news. Now, I've been reading the news over in Bangladesh, seeing what's been going on, and it's all the usual stuff really about Brexit and everything like that as well. But what we found is that Mothercare, one of the nation's favourite stores, has gone into administration. And for CeMAP studies, or people doing their mortgage exams or whatever, it's a good illustration actually of how businesses go bust. And is that a good thing? Of course it's not a good thing, it's a terrible thing, because 2,500 people's jobs are at threat, and that's just bad news all around. So what happened to Mothercare, which of course has got a massively successful brand? I remember buying stuff for my kids 20 odd years ago from Mothercare, probably a pram or two. Is that they had a CVA, a voluntary arrangement, a company voluntary arrangement for a while, which firms do when they start to feel a few problems coming in. And the whole point about a company voluntary agreement is that they get all their creditors in, and they get to talk to all the people they owe money to, and they do deals. As a result of that, they were able to shut 55 shops a little while ago, and hopefully get on an even keel. But there's underlying problems there, and this week they announced a full-blown administration. They're going into administration. This also happened to Thomas Cook, of course. What happens there is that they go into administration, an administrator governs the firm, if you like, and they look for a buyer. That's the whole point. And Thomas Cook were lucky enough to find a buyer for some of its branches, which is good news for them. And Mothercare hasn't found that yet, and I don't know if they will either. The competition for that kind of stuff is just fierce, isn't it? As a result of that, they're going to close their stores here in the UK, and 2,500 jobs are at risk. Abroad, of course, the Mothercare brand's doing really well, apparently. In India, which is a massive growth economy, the middle classes in India love the Mothercare brand, so they're doing okay there. But here in the UK, not so much. So it just makes you think about, CVAs and full-blown administration. Companies go into solvency, of course. So this is an illustration of what's going on. Horrible thing. Imagine if you're working there and Christmas coming up in 7 weeks' time. Doesn't even bear thinking about. Not nice, not nice. At least our economy is fairly buoyant, and people can find other jobs possibly at some point. Enough of that. Let's not worry too much about that. Well, not much we can do to worry about it really at the end of the day, isn't it? What I'd like to do now is go on to a pre-prepared topic for you on exchange rates. Yeah, hi, let's take a look at exchange rates for you. Now, if you're studying your exams or you're a mortgage advisor and you're doing okay, you come across the phrase exchange rates. Now, when I was abroad this week, I had to change my money to Dhaka, to the Bangladesh taka, as it's called. It's a pound to taka exchange rate. Now, I used my credit card and debit card. I was out there anyway, so I don't actually have any cash. But the whole point about exchange rates is people get confused with them. So I'd like to explain it to you with a nice little metaphor. Now take an example of a share. Now we know that shares, who've got a share for you, a share is an investment in a company. And your exchange rate, or a country's exchange rate, is like a share price. Because share prices, of course, vary with the market, don't they? If profits are doing well, share price goes up. If profits aren't so well, share prices come down. Also, it's the confidence in which companies or people give the share, or the company that's behind the shares, that affect the share price as well. So it's a pretty straightforward thing to think about, really. Google, for example, Apple, British Petroleum, all those shares are doing very well because people feel good about that company. So what I'm saying then is that the exchange rate is our share price. The country's exchange rate is our share price. So when you take a look at the pound, here's the pound for you. The pound exchange rate compared to other economies, other currencies, is either up or down. And it's how the whole world perceives your currency. Take for example the Brexit referendum back in 2016, of course, 2016 here, a little sort of graph for you. Pound was doing okay. Suddenly we decided to leave Brexit, the pound plummeted in value with the rest of the world. And every time that we get close to a deal, they're thinking about the pound going up again, but then it comes back down again, and now we're on an election footing. The pound's just wobbling really low at the moment, not doing so well. Because the whole world feels that the prospects of the UK are not so rosy. And that's really why we have an exchange rate that moves up and down. It's determined by the markets. What's happened, of course, is that the pound has plummeted, which makes exporting cheaper. Now, when I go to Dhaka, the fee that they paid me, they didn't have to pay me so much because the pound and Taka isn't going to get many more of those for the pound now, so they don't need to find so many pounds to pay me. So exports are cheaper, but of course imports are more expensive when the pound falls, and that can cause inflation. But at the end of the day, when you see in the news, oh, the pound has plummeted by 2 cents to the dollar or whatever it is, you know that the world's markets foresee the future of the UK is not so rosy. Likewise with the company's share price. That's really what I wanted to talk about there in this particular video. Hope that's been useful. Bye. There you go. Nothing too dramatically exciting there for you, but it makes you think about exchange rates, doesn't it? Okay, let's get on to another topic now for you, which a few people have asked about over the last couple of weeks. Remember, people on the Bootcamp can ask questions about anything really, and I get to answer them on here, and we put the videos on the Bootcamp for people, and you guys can listen to them as well if you want to. And this affects not only the CeMAP, but it's also the equity release qualifications as well, which many advisors are taking. And what I want to talk about now is the subject of annuities. So let's take a look at the subject of annuities. An annuity, we'll talk about these when we have a good old chat, shall we, about annuities. So let's put the title up there first of all for you. Annuities. Now, first of all, then, what is an annuity? Well, an annuity is something that you buy from a life assurance company. So over here, we'll put on our big whiteboard here the life assurance company. So here we're looking at the likes of Aviva, Legal & General. These are big firms now. They've all been merging over the last few years. Huge conglomerates, and they deal with life, general insurance, all sorts of things. And the whole point about annuity is you buy it from the life assurance company, and you have some money. You have a lump sum of money. Here's a big bag of cash there for you, which you've come from various sources. Maybe your own money, for example, or it could be money from a pension scheme. So let's put in there pension money. So your pension scheme has produced the money, or it just might be your own savings that you've saved over the years. There's one other venue to talk about, and that's a long-term care health plan. So long-term care plan. So that's for our equity release friends there as well. So effectively there's 3 routes in which you can provide a lump sum of money. And the whole idea is then that you buy or you give this lump sum to the insurance company, and they then return to you a income. Yeah, let's put a little pound note there. They then return to you an income for the rest of your life, or a preset term, or until you die. And that's how annuities work, really. They're pretty cool things. They're not the best investments, but they're very secure and safe. A lot of people like them. There's a number of issues to talk about. First of all, let's talk about taxation. We love taxation, don't we? Because it always crops up, and we have to talk about it. Because at the end of the day, it's all about tax, isn't it? So taxation varies quite considerably, actually, according to how your money came about. In other words, how did you save the money in order to buy the annuity? Now, if you bought the money from a pension scheme, excuse me, so you had a compulsory pension, you had an occupational pension or personal pension, and you must buy what's called a compulsory annuity. So let's put that in there, a little compulsory annuity. Because you have to buy an annuity. You don't, obviously pension money you can buy other stuff with it, of course you can. You can have drawdown and UF plus and stuff like that, but if you're looking to get an income, you buy the annuity. Now the whole point behind this one is it is completely taxable. So tax, yes. The whole lot is taxable, and that's really key, that one. I often see this as questions. If, however, you've bought the annuity with your own savings, so this is your own money, then some of it is taxable, some of it isn't. And the whole point here is if you were to buy this money from your own savings and they pay you an income, let's put a little pound note in there for you, they pay you an income from the money that you've paid, some of that income is actually returning your original capital. Think about it logically. The insurance company's got your lump sum, 20, 30, 40,000 pounds. They're now going to give you an income for the rest of your life. So some of that income they're giving you is a return of the capital itself. So effectively, you can divide that income into two parts, really. You've got this return of capital, and you've got the interest itself. Now, the whole point is that the return of the capital is free of tax, but the interest is taxable. It's payable a net of basic rate tax, and you have to pay any extra if you're a higher rate taxpayer. That's a particularly important benefit, really, of a purchased annuity, as we call it, a purchased life annuity. So, and you will get questions on that in the exam as well. Now, the other one, which not a lot of people are aware of, but because there aren't any plans around, if you save the money for a long-term care plan into this plan itself, and you use that to buy the annuity, and the annuity is then paid to the care home. So let's draw a little care home here for you. Here's the care home out in the countryside by the river. You know, lots and lots of windows, and that's your care home. And the money goes straight to the care home. Then in this situation, then there is no tax to pay on the income. No, a lot of people know that, because if you're dealing with people who are in an equity release situation, and you're looking to fund maybe a long-term care plan with a lump sum investment, which you can do, and then you use that money then to buy a care annuity, that's tax-free. And that's good advice for somebody that is going to pay money to a care home for the rest of their life, because it's very, very, very expensive. So finally, let's take a look at the types of annuity now that comes about. Most annuities pay an income that's fixed. We talked about that. These annuities pay income to the holder or the care home, but it's fixed. It's fixed at a certain amount of money, geared around the interest rates at the time. As interest rates are high, then the annuity payments are high too. If the interest rates in the economy are low, then the annuity amount that's paid is also quite low. And it's kind of like a lottery, really, as to when you decide to buy the annuity. Because if interest rates are low, you ain't going to get very much money. But if interest rates are high, you're going to get yourself much more of a return. But at the moment, of course, interest rates are just ridiculously low, so everyone's getting very low payouts from their annuities. But that's the majority of annuities. There are some different ones as well. And what I want to do is talk about some of the different types of annuities. And we'll squeeze those in down here, shall we? Types of annuity. There you go. So the first one to talk about for you is what's called escalating annuity. Escalating. Now, an escalating annuity, as it says there, means that the income that's paid to you increases each year with some kind of percentage. It might be a 3%, it might be a CPI figure, RPI, it could be 5%. You decide what you buy. Now obviously if you buy one that's going to escalate over the time, the income's going to increase each year or whatever it is, you're going to get a lower amount of initial annuity. So you've got to take a look at that. If you've got yourself a fixed amount that stays the same, you're going to get a decent amount of money, aren't you? But over 20, 30 years, inflation's going to erode it. So the escalating one increases, which makes absolute sense. You can have what's called a guaranteed annuity. Here we are. A guaranteed annuity. Now, a guaranteed annuity is guaranteed to pay the money for a set period of time, whether you die or not. And you can get one, for example, say for 5 years. So I buy an annuity with my pension, and I receive the income quite happily. It might be an escalating one, doesn't matter. But I decide to buy one that's guaranteed for 5 years. And if I pop my clogs after 6 months, then that annuity payment is still made to my estate effectively for 5 years. So it's just a little bit of a protection built in as well. Similar to the guaranteed one, you can have a capital protected one. Capital protected. And this is similar, but what happens here is that when you pay the large lump sum to the life insurance company that pays you the income until you die, if you died early in the proceeds, they will return the capital that they haven't paid you yet back to your estate. So say for example, you put in £100,000 and you only took a couple of years of income, they might put another 95 grand back into your estate on your death. That's known as a capital protected annuity. And that's a pretty good one too. Couple more for you. You can have a reversionary one. Reversionary, sometimes called a joint life annuity. This is for somebody who's got a partner, a spouse. They decide to have the payment made to them, but if they die early, it then goes to their spouse. And that's a cool thing to have as well, of course, if you've got somebody that looks after in the event of your death. That's known as a reversionary one as well. A couple more for you. You can have temporary annuities. Pretty rare now. This is where you pay the income only for a temporary period of time, then it stops. Typically these were given with purchase annuities with your own money, and they may only pay for say 10 years. Particularly if you're buying one at a young age, a temporary annuity means you're going to get a relatively large amount of money. These are often used for school fees, for example, where somebody has got to pay for Jemima to go to school from age say 12 to 16, private school. So they fund a sum of money, they buy an annuity with it, and that pays a money each year or whatever to pay the fees, and then stops when Jemima reaches 16 or 18. This is a temporary annuity, which you may have come across as well. Two more for you. You can have a with profits or unit linked annuity. Unit linked. Now, of course, we're talking here about insurance companies who have with profit and unit linked investments. You know, you can invest money with an insurance company through a bond, can't you? An insurance bond, which invests in a with profit fund or a unit linked fund, and it grows or falls. Now, obviously, these insurance companies are pretty good at this. So the idea is you have a unit linked annuity, so that the amount of money you receive is geared towards the performance of a fund. So it's kind of like best of both worlds, really. So you can certainly go for that if you wish to, but you need some good advice on that one. And the last one for you, which is kind of important really, is the impaired life annuity. This is why insurance companies are so good at providing equity release solutions in the later life market. I mean, I do a lot of work with some big insurance companies. L&G is a big client of mine, and they're really good at this because they've got years of experience of knowing how long people are going to live for. You know, they've got underwriting doctors, medical dudes who know how long people are going to live for according to their health situation. And if somebody comes along to them with an impaired life, so they've got an illness, something that's going to mean they're going to die early, their doctors can work out roughly when they're going to die. So because of that, they pay you a larger amount of money from the annuity than you get from a normal annuity, because they know you're going to die at sort of 77, 78, 80 or whatever it is, because they know these things. So that's pretty sad, isn't it? If you buy an annuity with an impaired life annuity, but you're going to get a larger amount of income to enjoy yourselves, get your bucket list sorted out along the way. I love watching the BBC programme a couple of months ago about the future. This guy goes along for a blood test, and the nurse says to him, "Do you want me to check your DNA? Do you want me to tell you when you're going to die?" It's quite scary, isn't it? But they can check your blood and they check your DNA, and they know from hereditary situations how long you're going to live for. I reckon in a few years' time, insurance companies will know that. So when you apply for life assurance, they know when you're going to die. So it kind of changes everything, doesn't it? The whole world of life insurance and health insurance is going to change because these people know, looking at your DNA, how long you're going to live for and what illnesses you're going to get. So it'll all be very much about accidental death or lifestyle deaths causing people to demise early. Anyway, morbid thought there, isn't it? But I'll finish off there with the different types of annuities. In the exam on CeMAP, you will get questions on these. In the equity release exams, the ER1 from the CII and the SARA, which has just been improved, thank goodness. Yeah, book's going to be improved dramatically. You'll get a lot of questions on annuities because this is the later life market. It's predominantly people over 65, that sort of age, that buy annuities. So, pretty comprehensive video. Hope that's been useful for you. Bye. Ha! There you go. Hope you enjoyed that one. Yeah, it's scary actually what insurance companies are able to do now with people. Take a bit of blood or some sort of sample or whatever they call it, and they can work out from your DNA, your family history, etc., how long are you going to live for? Which is, I don't know if I'd like to know that actually. Yeah, I don't know if I'd like to know that I'm going to go at 72 or something like that. Yeah, it kind of changes things, doesn't it, a little bit really when you think about it. I think I'd like to have a bit of a lottery really when I decide to go. Let's finish off with a little sales idea for you, which makes you think about your business. Let's take a look at a business idea for you if you're running your own sales business or you're running a sales operation. Most salespeople, I like to think, are self-employed anyway, because they're running their own sales operation, whatever it is you're dealing with. And this is called the compass and the right tools. I'm talking about compasses. Now, for those of you that know me well, know that I enjoy the sunshine. I enjoy the vitamin D. I love the sunshine. When I was in Dhaka this week, I took the Friday off before we started training, and I sat upstairs in the on the pool at the top floor and enjoyed the sunshine. It was quite hot actually. I got red, but I enjoy the sun. So Shelley and I were looking at properties early this year. We found a house, of course, but we were looking at viewing properties for quite a while during the winter period, the autumn and the winter. And of course, the problem with this country, the UK, is we don't get much sunshine, particularly in the autumn and the winter. All we get is grey, steely grey skies. It's just like cloud everywhere you go. Right out there now, for example, you look outside there, it's just grey. And we get that for 6 months during the autumn and the winter, and a lot of the summer too. Anyway, cut long story short, we're reviewing properties and we would go to the garden. And I say to the estate agent, is this garden south facing? Because the south-facing garden, of course, gives you all the sunshine. And most of the agents had no idea. They looked up for the sun, as we all did, and said, where's the sun? We can't see it. So they didn't have an answer until we went to one house, and this dude picked out his phone. He grabs his phone. He said, don't worry, I've got a compass on here. So he gets his phone tapped into it. He goes, well, right, okay, that's normal. So yeah, this garden is southwest facing, which means you're going to get evening sunshine. So if you're working during the day, come out. He was really clever, and he made a point actually. Southwest or westerly facing gardens where the sun sets means that you're going to get sunshine in the evening. I think that's what it is anyway. And he sold the property. Now the point behind the story is that this guy had an app on his phone, probably fortuitously. He's probably a bit of a techie, don't know, but he's switched on. He's got some good ideas. He had the right tool for the job. Now the message here is, do you have the right tools to do your job? Because if you can save man hours or time by a tool, then you should do it. And tools, of course, are mechanical, they're software, they're apps, all the right tools. If you're in the mortgage business, for example, do you have a good CRM system, some kind of customer relationship management system, where you can prospect for people, keep in touch with existing clients? Lenders, for example, are notorious at contacting clients like 6 to 8 months now before their fixed rates come to an end. You need to be there before they do it. Lenders, by the way, are a bit naughty. People think they're there to help brokers. They're not. They're there to lend. Now, back in the credit crunch, when the only people lending were lenders, nobody else had any money, they had dual pricing in those days, where they would give a client direct a lower rate of interest than they would give to brokers. That's bad, isn't it? They don't have loyalty to brokers. Be careful. So you need to contact the clients a lot earlier so that you get to fix the rate or whatever it is needs to be done. Do you have cloud storage, for example? Do you have all your data in the cloud? I do, which meant when I was in Bangladesh, I was able to do work from a laptop on the top floor of the hotel. I had Wi-Fi. I was able to access all my data that I needed to do my work. Cloud storage is really important. Do you have all the right devices? Do you have your tablets, your laptops, your phones? Do you have all the right apps and software to do your work as well? Have you upgraded your software? Is your software in the cloud? Can you use it anywhere at all? Do you have communication devices? Do you have video? Do you have FaceTime? Do you have stuff like this that does live streaming? Do you have all those things as well? Do you have a database of customers? A proper database which is GDPR regulated and secure and safe and all those good things as well. Do you have websites? Do you have apps that promote your services? All these things are tools for the job, and the list goes on and on and on. The motto really is, do you have the right tools to do the job? Is key. Obviously my agent did. He had his little compass. He was a bit of a dude as well. He sort of goes like this, a big smile, and showed me where the south facing was as well. Obviously, if we didn't have steel grey skies, we could have a look at the sunshine and see ourselves, couldn't we? So there's a little tip for you. Hope that's been useful. Bye. Great. Okay, so that's lovely. We're going to wrap up now. Hope the live stream has been fun for you. We're going to kick off again shortly in the future for you to enjoy things as we progress. We're going to talk to you again next week at some point. I'll let you know when that is. Hope you all have a great week. Enjoy yourselves, have fun, and we'll see you soon.